Hello and welcome back to the Otakuology Podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is Jen.
You, you should have done it. With me, as always, is Jen Graves.
Jen Graves. And we're here talking about My Happy Marriage, episodes 3 and 4.
So, why didn't you ever tell me that you and Otaku Tiff got married?
We didn't.
I thought I was supposed to be your best man, you son of a bitch.
We're not married.
You're just saying that we were going to tell everybody about your happy marriage.
Oh, I mean, not my happy marriage. Miyo's happy marriage.
Oh.
Yeah. Not mine. Miyo's happy marriage.
Not yet.
Which apparently, in the last episode, I just butchered her name back and forth through like most of the episode.
So surprise, I heard you butchered everybody's name in the last episode. So.
I mean, probably.
We can just say you're the butcher of names.
So please forgive me for butchering Japanese names. Just saying.
Yeah,
Just saying.
How can you butcher Mike?
I know. It's a flaw that I have from being from the South and being from Texas, you know.
Fuck you, I'm from the South, dude. It's a flaw I have from being from the South.
It's a flaw.
You're such a dick. It's such a flaw. Jim Graves talks that way too. He just takes classes to not talk that way. You guys know that? Yick. It's a bitch.
You know, we all wear our 10-gallon hats and ride our horses. You know,
and wear our suspenders
in our spurs. I almost said wear our horses, and I was like, we're getting into some Ed Gein shit right now.
What the fuck does Ed Gein mean?
You know what Ed Gein?
No.
So Ed Gein is like the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He like killed his mom and like made her into a skin suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I enjoy this conversation right now, but
yeah, no, there's like movies and documentaries like on this guy. He's like a real guy. And he like killed people.
He's a real guy. Is he a real boy?
He like killed people and tried to make them into, I think, like lampshades and stuff, and it was weird.
Well, yeah, that sounds weird.
Yeah, but anyways, we're talking about My Happy Marriage.
Yeah, we're not talking about people getting made into
meat suits,
lampshades,
and meat. You know, but
that makes me think of something really fucked up. Like, what if you were sitting there? What if you were sitting there and somebody was telling you how good your suit looked, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, Steve does make a good suit," and you're like, "The fuck?" Or like jeans. Yeah. Levi fits really good.
Yeah.
Who's Levi?
Yeah,
and why are you doing that to him?
Yeah. But anyways, we go into episode 3, which is The First Date, is what it's called. And we start out with Miyo and Kudo. Is it Kudo?
Jimmy.
No, it's not. It's Kudo.
It's gonna be Jimmy, okay?
No, it's not. It's Kiyoka Kudo is his name.
Hey, that's how it is in my head, buddy. Jimmy Kudo.
No, it's Kiyoka Kudo. And so he's
distant relative twice removed.
He's talking to Miyo, and he's asking her, "Hey, I got to go into town to pick some stuff up. Would you like to go with me?" And Miyo's kind of like, "Hey, no, I don't know if I want to go. It's not my thing. Like, I normally don't go into town.
I usually since I'm a wee lass, I usually just stay home and do the chores and stuff.
The chores. I don't have no reason to go into town. I'll just be a burden and a nuisance." And Kiyoka is like, No, come with me. I want you to come into town, and we'll have fun, basically.
Let's go. I need to show people my arm candy.
We move on, and we see Yuri, and Yuri is talking to not to Hana, to Miyo, and she helps her with her makeup and stuff like that. Which Miyo looks really attractive. I feel like she for somebody who's like, I guess you could say a peasant. I don't know. I don't know if she's actually a peasant,
For
but
an anime character?
for an anime peasant,
Jesus.
she's quite a looker. Like, she doesn't look bad, but like they felt the need to like cover her up with makeup,
Yeah.
and I feel like in the show, like society wise,
So
they think she looks better with makeup.
I have a question for you.
What?
Would you add her to your waifu roster?
I mean, probably, yeah. I think she's a cool character. I mean, I think she's gonna get better as the show goes along.
Okay.
Like, I don't hate her. Like, I don't think she's like an annoying character at all. She's a very relatable character in some aspects, I feel like.
Yeah. Because you're timid.
To be honest, but they're putting
Okay.
on the makeup and whatnot, and Kiyoka is ready to go, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta hurry up." And this when we get the scene where he looks at her and he's like, "Oh my god, like she's beautiful." Like, you can tell, like on his face, like he's like, "I like this girl. Like she's a looker." You know?
Holy shit. She looks more beautiful than I do.
I know, right?
Because let's just face it, he's a pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy. He is a pretty boy. I just gotta say, his haircut, I feel like, is non-regulation for the military. I think you might need to get a haircut. Just saying. Kiyoka needs a haircut.
I don't know. I mean, it might just be because he's such a dick, you know.
I mean, or maybe
his superiors walk up. Hey, buddy, you need to get your hair. Grrr. Never
no.
mind.
I'm not gonna get a haircut.
Never mind. Walk off.
But we see Miyo, her demeanor changes, I feel like, and she becomes more happy and more like open to talk to Kiyoka.
Yeah.
Like to go with him, because she seems very excited to go and because I feel like she this feels like this is like the first time she's ever been into town. Like, I feel like she was so like
probably
sheltered and kept away from the town. Like,
yeah,
to me it seemed like she hasn't been into town like for like a very, very, very long time. Like, probably before like the Industrial Revolution for for Japan and stuff like that. You know,
I have no idea what to tell you on that one, because
I don't know. That's what it seemed like. Like, she seemed like amazed at like everything.
Well, and I just don't think right now we can really tell that, because I feel like she's kind of got this whole new world opened up to her, and it's not. We don't really know, like, from stuff in the past, like what's 100% real and what's not as of right now. In terms of, like, was she able to go out? Like, did she have any leniencies? Like, almost to me, I would say I feel like she was like one of those kids like that almost like gets locked in the closet.
I mean, she technically did get locked in like a room.
Because they put her as like a, like you're going to be a servant, even though like you're part of the family.
And like things start coming out about Miyo that, she's like repairing her tattered kimonos, and stuff like that, from Yuri. Yuri starts telling Kiyoka about this. And he starts to like put like two and two together. I feel like that she wasn't really treated so well. Because in reality, like, he doesn't really know anything about Miyo.
Well, and I have to say, in this dynamic of Yuri, because Yuri is actually one of my favorite characters right now.
She's a pretty good character. I like her.
She's one of those characters, like that she can go out of her way. And I feel like if she ever wanted to tell Kiyoka like to fuck off because he was being immature or something, like he would accept it. Like she is definitely one of his confidants.
Most definitely. Is she the only servant in the house? Because we only ever see her.
Yeah, she's the only servant that he has.
Okay.
Um,
Which I have another question. Where the fuck is his family? Like, where's his mom and his dad?
I don't know if they're around anymore.
You know, like, because it seems kind of like he seems to kind of live a lonely life.
I just think he's focused too much on his work, honestly,
Probably.
in that.
Like his career.
Yeah. Um, and the other thing is, and I mean, we'll have to get into it more. I also don't know if he comes from a prestigious family or because of the power that he has, he's
No,
become a prestigious family.
Well, whatever family has power, they usually have like some kind of status. So whoever has power is usually his prestigious family, I believe.
I know, but the way he lives doesn't
I mean, yeah,
feel that
he
way.
he lives well off, but he lives like a very modest life. I feel like.
Yeah,
Like
I agree to that.
he has money, but he doesn't necessarily seem to flaunt his wealth.
Yeah. Because I mean, his house almost looks like a 4-bedroom house. A tiny
Yeah.
4-bedroom house.
It's kind of. I feel like it's kind of big because I believe there's like a couple rooms and stuff like that. I think there was even like a servant quarter, I believe.
I think the servant quarters in a different building.
Is it okay?
Because I think that's where Yuri is.
Like it seems to be like a decent sized house.
But I know we have his room, we have the kitchen area, we have that room that they sit in.
Mm-hmm. The library-ish area.
Yeah, we have like his study.
Yeah.
Well, so the study actually could be at the training grounds. You know what I'm saying? Like where he...
No, I believe he had like a study or like a reading room in his house. Because in the first episode, he's in like a study or like a reading area, which is not. It doesn't look like the one at the training grounds.
Yeah, the one with the big desk.
The one with the other one with the big desk and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I thought that was the same place that they kind of had like their breakfast at. Or whatever, or their dinner at.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, but they didn't sit at those tables.
But one thing he does have, he has electricity and running water.
Yeah.
And he also has a car, we find out.
Yeah. And he's got her room, and I know that there's going to be at least one other room in there.
Yeah. Which, go ahead.
But like, in comparison to like Miyo's family, which is like this almost like huge big mansion that has like, a whole like lake pond thingy beside it, and like all this other stuff, like, he lives a lot more modestly, even though it seems like he's got more money than they do.
I think he has more money. He has come from a more prominent family.
Yeah.
Like from the way I gather it, like he's like very like powerful. Yep. Like influence wise, like special powers wise, money,
Yeah.
And like the Samoris are powerful, but I feel like they're like a couple rows below where he is.
Yeah.
I would say.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But
we end up meeting a newish character. We meet Koda because Kiyoka and Miyo drive to his office.
Yeah.
Like the training area or the office or whatever they call it. I don't know what you call it. Military establishment, I would say.
Yeah.
And we meet Koda, and he kind of tries to pry into Kiyoka and Miyo, like, oh, why are you here? Stuff like that. Oh, she's so beautiful. He's like, back the fuck off and get back to work.
Carl, I said get back with the others.
I said get back, Carl.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we know that this guy is like his second in command.
Yeah.
I don't think really knew his name because we saw him, I think, in the first episode.
Yeah, he was in the first episode. I like the line where Kiyoka was like, I will never admit it, but he's actually pretty good with his like special spirit gifts. Like he's a pretty strong guy.
Yeah.
Which is it's funny to see like even Kiyoka like admit that like the walls are kind of slowly coming down and he's giving more of his personality.
Yeah.
And like,
So I have a question here.
uh-huh.
Do you think it really is something that Kiyoka did by dropping the car off here and walking the rest of the way into town? Or do you think he did it to kind of show Miyo off?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because when I was watching it,
Because he said,
that
like,
was my impression.
because like Kiyoka says in the episode, like, hey, we're gonna park here because it's easier to park here instead of in the city.
Right, right.
So they're kind of like a little ways out. I don't know if they're like right on the outskirts of the city, so they could just like walk in, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but that's a good. It's an interesting observation. I feel like.
yeah.
Uh,
I definitely was wondering if that's what it was, because I mean, like, for all the stuff that we weren't exactly sure what errands they were running,
mm-hmm.
to have to come back and actually like do all that stuff
Yeah.
and pick that stuff up and come back. You know, I felt
Oh,
that way. And then the other thing is,
I thought like the stuff they go and get, I like they go and order it, and then they have to come pick it up later.
well, the kimono was the other things. I think were things for the house.
Okay, okay,
Um, you know, so that was my question out of that, because I was kind of like, okay, well, like, did he park there on purpose? Because the other thing is in the town that they're in, how many people actually have cars? Because every time they're in town, we don't really see that many cars.
no, but we do see like monorails, like in like trolleys type of thing.
That's true too. And then the other thing that I wonder is, being a prestigious family, you think that they would have, like, you know, also gloriful like parking of, you know, I can
Yeah,
park wherever the fuck I
like
want, kind of
reserved
sort of.
parking or valet parking, I could say.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I feel like maybe Kiyoka was raised right, and maybe he was made made people feel equal to him. You know,
Yeah.
in an extent. You know.
Or, so another thing he could have done besides showing her off was also, because this is also after the scene where he was starstruck by how she looked.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, maybe he has that whole romantic thing where he was like, yeah, I could just drive into town, but then I wouldn't get to walk with you.
Yeah, I would get to walk with her and like
Yeah.
talk to her. Which we have this scene, which I like this scene where they're walking through town and she's like mesmerized by everything
Yeah.
and whatnot. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention, Miyo says. And, you know, he's like, oh no, don't worry. Like, just don't get lost. Like, you can have all the fun you want, you know?
Yeah.
And we even Kiyoka like cracks a smile at her,
Yeah.
which for him, that's kind of rare, you know? Because he's
Yeah.
He's stone cold face usually.
He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, stone cold, stone cold.
Yeah. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
But they end up going to this very established like tailor where they make like kimonos and stuff like that.
Yeah, they kind of split up.
Yeah, I mean they don't really split up, but they're in the same building.
Well, I thought this was the time when he told her to like go get candy or something.
No, they go to the kimono place or the clothing place, whatever it was. I'm like, oh, this has been an establishment with my family for years and stuff like that. And they're talking and to the woman who runs it,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Stay here, look around. I'll be right back." What Miyo doesn't know is what Kiyoka is doing for her,
Yeah.
which is he's getting her kimonos to wear. He's buying her new clothes because she needs it. You know,
Because she's his wife.
he wants to
Almost
help
wife.
her. He wants to help her, and like the lady running the store, she sees it like, oh my God, like she can even see it on Miyo, like, and how, like, because like he's never brought a woman here before.
Yeah.
You know, this is special, and like he says, "Oh, like I want this color," and then he picks like a cherry blossom like pink color.
There you
Which we,
go, ladies. If your man takes you to go clothes shopping and he picks out what your outfit is, it's true love.
I guess so. I guess so.
I'm gonna have to send you and a talk to Tiff on an errand because I'd really like to see what you would pick out.
We've done that before. We did it on a date one
Be
time.
like, yeah, but I mean, like anything.
Yeah, we did on a date one time. And we took photos.
I thought y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That one was though y'all picking out like really like nice clothes though to take.
No,
pictures.
we went to Goodwill. We went to Goodwill.
There's new parts of this story that I am finding out.
Yeah, we went to Goodwill and then we like took pictures in our weird clothes that we bought, you know?
When I visit, we're gonna go to Goodwill and do the same
well,
thing.
we have like 5 in town. So.
5 Goodwills? Jesus Christ. Fuck. Well, getting back to the thing, you know, we won't find a Goodwill here in this town where Kiyoka and all them live. You have to order that stuff, okay?
Yeah. But as Kiyoka is talking to this woman, we see Miyo looking at this pink kimono, and it reminds her of her mother, basically, because there's like cherry blossoms and stuff on it. It's a really nice kimono, and we see Kiyoka talking to the woman, like, you know, it's not what you think. She's like, it's not what you think, you know. And he hands her this box with this comb in it, and we find out later that a comb is like a proposal, like it's
We find it from Yuri.
Yeah, like it's like kind of like an engagement ring almost, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which he hadn't given to her yet. He has it.
Yeah, he just has it. And they leave there, and he sees her looking at this kimono, which he already picked out for her. Like he was like, "Oh, I want that one as well." Even though apparently it's not in season, according to the kimono lady. You know.
Yeah.
So they leave there and they go to like this sweet shop where Miyo ends up eating this. It's like gelatin fruit something snack, like dish. Yeah. And she doesn't really like it that much. And her and Kiyoka have this like heart to heart, and like he starts talking about how, you know, like I want things to be open, like open dialogue between us, basically. You know, I would love to see you crack a smile, you know, and this and that. And then they go home. And this is where we have a really interesting, I feel like, turn of events to where Yuri is talking with Kiyoka, I believe, right?
Yuri, yeah.
Because Kiyoka goes to leave the comb at Miyo's door because she's in the bath right now, and we have the scenes like she's like, oh my god, like it's really happening, like, you know, he's letting his walls down, you know, he actually does care about her, you know. And we see Miyo gets out of the bath, goes and finds the comb, and she's like, oh my god, I can't accept this, to Kiyoka. She's like, I can't accept this, it's too much. He's like, no, you need it, like it's a gift, do with it what you will. And she's like, you know, I'll cherish this forever, basically. Yeah. And we see like a true, honest to God, like reaction from her. Like she's like legitimately happy. And he's like taken back by that. Like, oh my God, like he now knows what like happiness is, I feel like.
Yeah.
In a sense. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like both of them were like so in the dark on stuff because he was always like such like a worrywart overthinker, and she had such anxiety from like PTSD from her family and everything that now that they're both kind of like doing their things together, like they're starting to like come out of their shells more and be able to get out of those styles.
I don't know if this is like the proper term. but I want to call it like battered woman syndrome. You know, or like somebody who's been abused in relationships and stuff like that. Like when they get into a relationship that isn't like that, like they sometimes they don't know how to like 100% deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, oh, like, no, they're not going to hit me. No, they're not going to yell at me. You know, other things are going to happen, you know, like, and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, like PTSD.
yeah, PTSD basically.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And it's really interesting to see like how they're slowly coming together because which one thing I was kind of confused with is how much time has passed between like episodes 1 and 2,
That's funny because I was just about to bring that up to you.
like episode 3 and 4.
So I can't really tell you with episode 1, 2, and 3.
Uh-huh.
All I know is like we've probably went about a week or so, but when we actually get into episode 4, we're more at like a month.
Okay.
And I can't remember why something gets brought up, and it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yes, we're like sitting at about a month. But I mean, they've had all this time that we're actually not seeing for them to like grow.
Yeah.
And then like I'm gonna jump a little bit into episode 4. Um, we have this whole thing where, you know, Miyo is comfortable enough with going back into town and everything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And she actually goes with Yuri, and then when she sees Kaya, and kind of all that PTSD comes running back, and she becomes a scared little girl again.
Yeah, and we'll
Because
talk about
all
that when we
that.
get into that.
But when you have that kind of whole thing, and where that happens and it gets brought up, you realize like how long it's been from basically like the beginning episodes to what it is then. Because I almost thought like 6 months to a year had passed. And I don't think it's that much, but I think we are like at 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, maybe.
That's one thing I feel like
Oh,
this.
I totally forgot about the ending. So I totally forgot about the part where where Kiyoka goes back to. Is it Kiyoka, or am I getting my stuff mixed up? I can't remember exactly.
He goes back to where?
To the like military place. Yeah, because he gives her the comb. Sorry, he gives her the comb, and he ends up going back to where he works, and we find out from like the spy basically that
Yeah, it's like the next day.
he like hires to basically spy on them before the marriage proposal and stuff, and get all this information about Miyo and her family, and he finds out all the truth basically about what's been going on.
All the tea gets spilled.
All the tea gets spilled and stuff like that. And he's like, oh man, this is fucked up. This is fucked up what they did. And we find out, like, you know, this is where I was kind of talking about how, like, we find out that, like, Miyo's dad loved her stepmom and he was forced to marry Miyo's mom because of her bloodline. That's right. That's what I was talking about in the first episode when we're covering it.
Well, and so my other thing with part of this part, I can't 100% tell you that I actually feel like he even loves her as well because of how he carries himself and his vendetta with the other families and whatnot. I really think he's just kind of a money-hungry SOB.
Who?
The dad. Like the stepmom is gruff, and I think it's because he really doesn't care. But when it really comes down to like how he cares about things, I really don't think. I even think that if something happened to her, like he'd just move on and get another wife.
He just wants the money and the power.
I mean, I don't think he really cares about anything else but the status.
Yeah, no. I definitely agree with that.
And like I know where the stepmom, we have this whole evil stepmom thing with it where she's like, oh yeah, I really don't even think he gives that big of a fuck about her. It was just more so, and this, I mean, tell me if you feel like I'm wrong. I feel like the stepmom was kind of blinded by the whole maybe love of him.
Maybe.
and what he got was a better offer, and it was Miyo's mom, and then
Yeah,
he circled back to this
because
lady.
the Usaba bloodline is apparently like very strong,
Yeah,
like very very strong, and somewhat I feel like, if I remember correctly, like mysterious. Like they can't really trace back to like how like Miyo's mom even got like the Usabla bloodline, basically.
yeah, because they can't find the bloodline at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I agree with that because like the other thing is when this agent guy talks to um
Kiyoka,
name name
Kiyoka,
he talks to Kiyoka and tells him basically like besides like her mom and knowing that she's Utsuba,
yeah,
there's not really any tie for them to be anywhere else. Like
yeah.
they're kind of this weird like legendary bloodline. I almost feel like it's like Naruto's mom. Like
Oh yeah.
like oh yeah, like we don't really know where these people came from, but we do know XYZ, like
Yeah,
so it's just one of those kind of ancient bloodline things that we don't know where they are or how they've been around or anything else. We just know that it existed.
no, yeah. I
So
got you.
yeah.
But moving into the next episode,
we
episode
have where
4.
we have where Miyo would like to return the gift from the comb and wants to buy that word that I can't say
No, she doesn't
or
want to
remember.
return the gift. She wants to like
No,
get a
no,
gift in return.
that's what I meant.
Uh,
She wants to keep the comb, but she wants to
give him a gift.
return a gift for.
Return the generosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which is interesting because like she's like, oh, she goes to talk to Yuri and she's like, oh, he gave you the comb. Oh, that's so great. And she's like, I want to
You ready?
go. What?
It's the Kumihimo.
The Kumahimo. It's
Kumihimo.
it's it's fucking rope. It's rope.
Yeah.
It's just rope. That's what I'm gonna call it. The braided rope is what they call it in the anime, I believe. Um,
Yeah. Because they didn't give some fancy name to the fucking comb.
because it's just a comb.
That everybody listening, that's one of my pet peeves and stuff where they like really pick out one item and they're like, yeah, we're gonna call this by its Japanese name because that's gonna make sense because we don't know what to fucking call it in English
It's a
besides
it's a it's
because
a
the braided rope doesn't sound as cool as it should be, and then it's like that's a comb.
it's a comb.
It's not a wakabayashi, like something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, they're talking, and Mio and Yuri are talking and stuff, and Yuri's so excited. She's washing dishes. She stops washing dishes, and she's like, "Hey, let's see what we can do." And Mia's like, "I don't have a lot of money," and Yuri's like, "Oh, hey, it's okay. It's okay. We can make him something." And she gives her like a book of like designs and stuff for clothing and stuff. And Mia's like, "Oh, I like this. I like this rope. I'm gonna give him a rope because it's better to give them something that they could use on a daily basis."
I'm gonna give him something that he'll wear all the
All the
time.
time. And so she asked Kiyoka, "Hey, can I go into town?" And he's like, "Oh, well, do you want me to go with you?" And she's like, No. It's okay. It's okay. I can do it myself because Miss Yuri's going with me." And he's like, "Okay, go with her, but don't talk to strangers." And we get this scene. But I like the scene where they're at the front gate. Miyo and Kiyoka are, and she's getting ready to leave, and he hands her this amulet. Do you
Yeah.
think the amulet is like a protection amulet? Because that's
Yeah,
what I thought it was.
yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like
He tells her that.
he's like, "Oh, don't lose this," basically.
Yeah.
I just heard it was an amulet. I don't think I knew what exactly it was for.
Amulets are always protection, buddy.
But anyways, he's happy to
Um,
have it.
I I have a confession to make.
Okay.
So whenever she had like the imagination of what she was going to make for him,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was like a gold strand with all the purple.
No, it kind of.
And whenever she bought the strands of stuff, I was sitting there like, why does she have this yellow one?
I
Is she
think
making him? Is she making him two? And then she makes it, and you actually get to see it where it's like these big purple strands, and there's like this one yellow one that's really tiny, just mixed in.
I want to say
It threw me off though.
in the picture it's purple. But I
Yeah,
thought
if you look around like the edges of it, there's a gold swirl that goes through it. Yeah,
I might have missed that the first time. Like I noticed she grabbed the gold string.
yeah.
But in the thing and the when she's daydreaming, I just saw purple.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I saw. And then whenever she actually made it, and you could kind of see it a little more, I was like, the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. It's a nice rope.
Because I went this whole episode like, why did she pick up the gold?
But
is something else getting made?
Is it after this? Like while she leaves, Kiyoka starts writing a letter. I believe it was. Or is that after? He starts writing a letter. We don't know what the letter is. And then he goes off to do whatever he has to do. And so Yuri and Miyo go off and they go shopping for string.
Yep. And then she leaves her by like town hall.
It says,
I'll go get the salt.
Because she's got what I don't understand why she didn't just go with her. Like
I was confused in this too, except Yuri's like, oh, you're a lady, don't worry about it. So it was like the status.
Miyo's like, oh, I can go with you, or I can go get it. And she's like, no, this is what I get paid to do, basically. Is what Yuri says. But I don't understand why they went to go get the string together. Why didn't they go get the salt together?
Right. Well, see, I can only make one argument, and I hate because it's a piss poor argument for this.
Because it's set up for the plot.
Because it's set up for her to be separate from Yuri for Kaya to get to her.
Yes. And
I just want to say that's bullshit. But
it was for plot to move the plot forward, basically.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And so we get to this scene where Kaya and Koji show up. And I'm gonna be honest, even though Koji's a nice guy, he's a fucking little bitch at this moment.
I've been thinking the same thing since day one.
He's a fucking...
Because in my mind, I keep thinking, like, what if they actually did get married?
I mean, like, I would have...
If Miyo and Koji would have gotten married, and the way that Kaya runs over him anyway, I really think even though they were together, there would be more issues.
Oh, we totally skipped the scene where Miyo's father and Koji's father are talking, and how they thought that Miyo was going to be like dumped on the streets and abandoned by Kiyoka.
Oh yeah, because that was like episode 3
that
as well.
That was their plan.
Yeah.
Like, that was their plan, and he was going to go to Koji's older brother, which Koji's other brother, by the way, we meet him in this episode.
I just say I called it.
What?
I called that this was going to happen.
What?
In episode 1 and 2 when we were talking about it, I was like, oh man, they want him to dump her so she's on the street.
Yeah.
I started watching this, I was like, oh shit, I was right.
Yeah, we do meet Koji's brother. I don't remember what his name is, but we meet him, and he's an asshole too.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a little bitch. So
Koji is a little bitch, and I feel like if Koji ends up getting married, he's gonna get like cucked a lot.
I could see that.
He's gonna get cuckolded a lot. Just saying.
I could see that. He's
But
gonna, she's gonna use him and abuse him.
most definitely. But we have this scene where Koji and Kaya show up. Koji's like, "Look, let's just leave. Let's get out of here." And Kaya pulls Koji in and like kind of hides behind him almost.
She didn't hide behind him. She's in front of him.
Well, at first, like when he kind of pulls her close, like she kind of pulls him close, and after the fact.
Well, she just pulls him close for that little bullshit that's like, oh, we're the happy, like a new happy couple. That's like, like that's what she does. Like,
can I just say,
her whole thing is like so fucking fake.
Every time she gets on the fucking screen, I want to like reach into my TV and just beat the shit out of her. She is so annoying.
Well, can I tell you, every time I see her get on the screen, I just want to be like, did you know that your father's not really your father? I mean, just look at it. Like, do you really look like your father or your mother?
We all know what you're hiding. You have no special powers.
You don't have no special powers. Yeah, not only that, but like you're like the milkman's baby.
Your mom's a whore.
Yeah, like what else are we pulling out here? Yeah, either that or you're adopted. I mean, like,
Yeah. So we get this scene where she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're wearing that ugly kimono still. What are you doing out here? You begging for money? I can give you some money if you like. Just you got to get on the ground and beg for it." And we get this like it hits Miyo like a rock, like a ton of bricks. Like you can see her demeanor change, and she's like, "I'm fucking worthless," basically. Like, oh my god, like. She gets that PTSD, like you said.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, in a weird sense, Kaya kind of gets her comeuppance when Yuri shows up.
Oh, no shit. I think the only thing that I hated out of that part was she knew what she was doing. And when Yuri actually walked up, she wasn't trying to bully her anymore.
No.
And so my whole thing with that, honestly,
she thought Yuri worked with Miyo, like as a...
Yeah. Well, here's my other thing that I'm really confused about, is you're going to sit there and basically bitch at Miyo with all these... Because they are in a fucking crowd, okay?
Yeah.
Like, virtually, there's people walking around doing their shopping.
Nobody says anything.
Nobody says anything. Nobody acknowledges it. Which I could say that maybe Kaya's talking low enough.
Well, you mean, like, you think about it, like, normally if something happens, like, it's custom for, like, Japanese people to, like, not get involved, basically.
Yeah. And then that's happening, and they do that and everything else. Like, I'm like, okay, well, Kaya ain't exactly like the quietest motherfucker in the world. Okay?
No.
Like,
there was one part where Koji's dad and her dad were talking, and she started like yelling outside the door at one point.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, she's not the quietest person. So I'm like, okay, well, Yuri had to have heard stuff. And then, like, the anime fucking plays it off like, Yuri just walked up and, yeah, like, we've been coworkers and all this other stuff. Like, that I don't even feel like she exactly acknowledged or knew any of that, because even when she goes back later on and she kind of informs, like, what happened to...
Yuri tells Kaya, because they're like, "Oh, you work with Miyo?" And she's like, "Oh gosh, no, I don't work with her. I work for her.
She's my lady."
Yeah, she's like, "I work for her." And I feel like in this scene that Yuri knew, and Yuri wanted to, like, basically come at Kaya, basically.
Well, see, so I'm going to agree / disagree with you. Okay, let me present my case though.
Okay.
I think she doesn't know exactly what was said. I think, though, that she read the room and knew what she needed to say.
Okay.
Because And like I was saying, I feel like after she goes back and sees, I want to call him Koga, and I know that's not the right fucking name.
Kiyoka.
Yeah. When she goes back to Kiyoka, she says, when I walked up, this is what she was like,
Mm-hmm.
and tells, how Miyo was kind of like in that turmoil state, everything else. So that's one of the little gripes that I have with this episode is I feel like Kaya's loud mouth was loud enough that Yuri would have heard part of this before she walked up, yet the anime basically tells us that Yuri never heard any of that and didn't know what was going on until she got up.
I don't know. I feel like Yuri knows more than what's going on.
Oh, I think she just read the room. I don't think...
Yeah.
And I only say that because of when she reported back to Kiyoka about the stuff, because she says this is what she appeared to be like.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of reverted back into like her, or went back into her shell. She went back because her sister was there, but she didn't say, and I quote, basically she acted, her sister was there and acted like she was poor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, even Miyo, like Yuri asked her when they get home if she wants to make some tea and stuff, and she's like, no, don't do that,
Yeah.
Don't make any tea, go rest. And we see like Miyo's like, oh, I hate myself, why is this happening, stuff like that,
Yeah, I mean, and she virtually reverted back to when she first came there.
And while this is going on, while this is going on, Kiyoka goes to the Samori house and has a meeting with her stepmother and her father, which I find really interesting. And I kind of was a little bit confused, which we'll get into this.
So they try and kiss his ass so hard.
They fucking kisses. They're like fucking brown nosing it. They're like up his fucking balloon knot, You're stupid.
Up his balloon knot.
Sorry. They're up his chocolate starfish.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
But anyways, so he goes there to basically say he wants to make their engagement official.
Yeah.
I thought their engagement was official. She was sent off there to get married, correct?
Yes and no. So in Japanese culture, you get sent to wherever you are, and it's kind of like a trial period.
She's on probation.
Basically.
Probationary period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like if before you're in Otaku Tiff's engagement, you're like, hey buddy, she's gonna come stay with you for a little while. I need you to report back if there's anything you feel like I wouldn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how that shit works.
Yeah. Which he's like, yeah, I want to basically have this engagement. And they're kind of like, what? Why are you here, basically? Before he announced that, why are you here? Did she do something wrong? He's like, oh, no. I intend to marry her. And they're like, oh, okay. Their tone kind of changed. Okay, yeah, marry her. And he's like, but I have some ground rules we need to fucking set, basically. And this is where I feel like either things are going to go horribly wrong for this family, or they're going to try to change and kiss Miyo's ass, I feel like.
I don't feel that way. I feel like it's going to be one of those really shitty things. Because, his demand is for them to
apologize.
And they already are like, what? Wait, you want us to apologize?
Yeah,
what did we ever do?
Which Kiyoka says he plans to marry Miyo.
Yeah,
but
like we said earlier, though, about her dad, I honestly feel like with anybody he could give two fucks about it.
Yeah, he just wants the power and the money.
Yeah, he wants the power and the status, and the money of all that stuff or whatever. I really feel like the apology she will get is, I'm sorry that you feel this way, but if you were a better child that had spiritual pressure or energy or whatever, then we wouldn't have to worry about XYZ.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's going to turn into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry you feel that way, that you are doing this, and they're going to put it on that it's Miyo's fault no matter what, compared to an actual apology.
Yeah, I could see that. But I'm a little confused as well because he's like, oh, we'll cut off we'll basically cut y'all off. Which, if they don't apologize, are Mio and Kiyoka still going to get married, but married outside the family? Like, I was confused.
Okay, so basically how this works too is the wife goes off with the husband's family. Now they are incorporated into the husband's family,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's in almost every medieval feudal era type one that we've seen, like, where they get sent off. The man usually doesn't get sent to another
But
household.
Koji got sent off.
Koji got sent off because he's the second son.
Okay.
So usually, though, that is the family, and that's an agreement, and that only usually happens when it is a more powerful family by name.
Uh-huh.
So we do know that Koji's family is a little less bottom rung than the Samoris.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because of how that laid out. Okay,
Yeah,
you with me now
I got you.
on that? So, in the sense of that, after you would send your daughter or whatever to anything, then if the family said that they were going to keep her and marry her, by all rights, if they're still doing that because she's technically part of their family now, by all rights, the other family has to basically let her go and let her be absorbed into that new family.
Okay.
And you see that kind of also 100 times over in the sense of like royalty in general. The more pristine family is how that works out.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So because like in our lineup of what we know of families right now, I'm not 100% sure on the Usubas.
Uh-huh.
I would assume not. Even though they have this great power, they're not as profound as
They have profound power.
yeah, they're not as profound as not Koji, Kazuya,
Kiyoka.
Kiyoka's family, but they are more profound than the Samoris.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then we have the Samoris, and then we have Koji's family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, we get the scene where like they come home and stuff like that, or he comes home and he finds out what happened basically
We got back up just a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what about when he left? And it was
yes,
it was that time whenever he's leaving and all that, and Kaya and Koji are actually walking in.
Yeah, and then Kaya basically like, this man is very pretty.
Right.
Which I think that she ends up getting a crush on Kiyoka.
Well, and the funny thing is she didn't know who he is.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I like to stand by the statement that you said earlier that Koji's probably getting cucked.
No, Koji's getting cucked pretty hard. He's getting cucked pretty hard. But Miyo ends up actually making the rope, the special rope. We find that out later. And then we get this scene where she's in her room debating on whether or not to tell Kiyoka about everything and stuff like that. Like she has special powers and stuff like that. And we get this nice scene where we meet Miyo's former friend / coworker? Caregiver, I guess you could say. Where we meet Hana again, which Hana is the one who got fired for standing up to the Samoris.
For standing up to the stepmom.
Yeah, I mean she's part of the Samoris.
Yeah, but it was the stepmom.
Yeah,
Like
basically.
it wasn't the dad and everything. He's the one that
Yeah,
fired her, but it was the stepmom that was the reason she got fired.
yeah. And we find out that her life has been somewhat good. Like, it hasn't been like she's not like a person of status, but we find out she gets married and has a kid, and we find out that she's happy to see that Mia's doing really well, uh, and this and that, and she basically tells Mio, like, you have to open up to Kiyoka as well, and
Yeah,
so and vice versa, at this point.
yeah,
And we after that we get this really nice scene where I believe they leave, like they end up leaving, or she ends up leaving, and we see somebody spying in the distance, I believe. And we also find out that Miyo ends up going to tell Kiyoka that she's basically a normal person. She has no status, even though she comes from status. She's basically a slave, a servant.
yeah. Telling her
Um,
history.
and he's like, I know everything, and that's okay. Like, I want you here. I want you to be here.
Yeah,
Basically, he wants to develop a life with her and stuff like that. Like, he shows his actual feelings. And then she like gives him the rope, and it's such a nice, touching scene. I feel like, and I feel like they do come closer as like characters, like in a relationship.
yeah.
It's an awkward relationship at some points, I feel like, but there is a relationship there. Because I also kind of wonder, like, what do they do in their free time? When are they just by themselves a bunch before dinner or breakfast before they eat? Like, do they not spend really much quality time together?
I'm sure there's other chores and stuff that they do,
Uh,
and we're not. Like I said, it's been like a couple months. I'm sure that there's other stuff that we just don't have or have not known what was going on. That either they're in their rooms for a period of time doing stuff, or they one of them's doing chores, or one of them's doing something, or like the job.
yeah,
There's a bunch of this other stuff that's going on that we don't exactly know. We just like secondhand hear it.
yeah. But we end up finding out that Koji's father is the one that sent they're like paper birds, I believe they were,
The
the
Shinigami.
Shinigami, to spy on Kiyoka in the last episode as well as this episode. And we're come to find out that he's going to try to break them up, basically. So shit's going down, I feel like.
Yeah.
And just saying, I feel like Kiyoka should just kill Koji's dad. Just kill him.
um, I feel like there's a couple other people before him on that list,
Oh,
but
the Samoris?
yeah.
Yeah, no, most definitely. First, we're going to start with Kaya. Kaya needs to die.
I don't know. I feel like first it should be the stepmom,
I mean, yeah, throw her in there too.
and then Kaya.
But yeah, this was interesting, and the plot definitely thickens.
Well, and then this is the part right here. Remember that we get that little spot where Koji confronts his dad, like you were saying, but then
Oh
he kind
yeah,
of does that, and then he actually gets to talk to his brother.
yeah.
And
That's
and for right now, like I can't remember his brother's name to save my life either.
I don't even know. I don't even
But-
remember if like he gets a name in this episode.
But he's basically saved in my head as Darth Vader because he kind of does like a force choke on
Oh yeah,
Koji, and I was like, "The fuck is going on? I don't know if I like this character right now." And he's got bright red hair, like
yeah.
like
No, I really like these two episodes, and I feel like they fit together pretty well. Like, I felt like these 4 episodes, they could each be like an hour-long episode in a sense, and just like be like, oh, here's 2 long episodes, because they, like you said before, they do run together.
yeah,
I feel like,
yeah. It kind of reminds me of what is it? Here and Back Again? No. This Is the World. Maybe that's what it is. This is the world. Where the girl gets sent off and she's living with like a family in the mountains, and you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about, and it's like on the precipice of like World War II.
yeah.
And then like they see the part where they like the
Drop the
Americans,
bombs.
yeah, they see that part, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? And you have to like deal with the
Well,
fallout.
is it like in this corner of the world?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I knew one of us would get there. I could
Yeah.
give you enough clues. I was like, I don't know. I'm getting the name though.
Yeah, no, I get
Um,
you. I get you.
that's kind of how I felt like this one could have been set up more though.
Yeah.
Um, where we almost actually got like a movie instead of, you know, it being broken up into episodes.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But yeah, it was really interesting to see like how they're developing their relationship,
Yeah.
and I want to see where it progresses, and like how the other families are going to be involved and how they're going to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
really
just
want to
they
I
just
really want to
announced.
see how this stacks up to the live action.
Oh yeah. I mean, the live action came after, I believe,
Yeah.
but they did just announce a season 2 for this show, so we're
I'm
getting a season 2.
yeah.
So
We knew that was coming because they're not even done with the manga yet.
that's true. That's true. But yeah, I like this. I like the developments of Kiyoka and Miyo and their relationship and how Miyo's opening up more. I like how Yuri likes to meddle, but it's like a good meddling, you know? Uh,
Our old deputy dog characters.
and we get like a very nice, I want to say closure to like Hana's story and
Yeah.
how it deeply affected Mio and stuff, and how like, you know, she has to get rid of all this stuff. Like, you know, it's the trauma is not just skin deep. There's like mental scars that she has to deal with, which is going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see going forward, and how
She's got to take notes from the Eminem songs. She's got to clean out her closets.
she's got to clean out her closet, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed these. What would you give these 2 episodes?
Um, I think I'm still sitting at a 5.
Me too. I am as well. I thoroughly enjoyed these episodes.
Yeah, you remembered the names a lot better this time.
I did remember the names a lot better this time. Yeah, I did. You didn't. You didn't remember the names. So it's the opposite,
I
you know.
always don't remember names, buddy, okay?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I said this before, but yeah, I do feel like it's a little awkward, like how their relationship progresses
Yeah.
so slowly. Like, it's really interesting to see. Like, I've never been in an arranged marriage.
I mean, what the fuck did you want, Mike? Did you want them to, like, her to live with him for a day and then them climb into the sack together? What did
No.
you expect, buddy?
I expect them to be like normal fucking people and have normal conversations, but
This is feudal Japan. Nobody goes that fast, buddy. Nobody does 3 texts and a phone call and then jumps into bed with each other like nowadays.
well, they should. They should, okay? It makes life better. Just saying.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
But anyways, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more of My Happy Marriage on Otakuology. And rate and review the podcast. You can comment on our Anchor or on our Instagram. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah, as always, see you next Tuesday.